Oh. Hello, everyone. This is a live, but this was not the live that was supposed to be live. I was supposed to go live with Edward Lorne over on his channel, Edward Lorne, but had his, I think Richard Chizmar cut his power. Let's just say that. Let's just say Richard Chizmar cut E's power and he couldn't do anything about it. So it had to be delayed. And it gets down to the wire. So there's been scheduling conflicts, and let's just blame Chizmar for the power outage and the unfortunate last minute cancellation of that. So we're going to go to plan B in a way that is more flexible for us, so we can coordinate and get together a document that can stand for anybody who's saying Chizmar is just he's just a business guy, and it's tough out there for indie presses, and cut him some slack, and when the books show up they're good enough and all that bullshit. So this will be like where we gather we build the case, and we're going to try to do it without the typical hyperbole and emotion that you're used to from me, which is just screaming. Oh, by the way, this is the funny little man shirt. This is on Todd Kiesling's site, and I bought it in a large in heather gray. Only problem is this is meant for a heather. This is a woman's t-shirt, and I didn't know that until I put it on. And oh man. So I guess there is a reason women's tees and men's tees are different. What is this? Hey, Alan. Oh, thank you. Damn, that is very, very generous. Thank you for that. Normally when people do super chats, it's because the comments go by so fast and they can't get called out. But in this, I always get to the comments. But thank you so much. That's a lot. Hello. So yes, we got Alan, Mitch, Dave, Jay Stones, Jason. I know it sucks. I heard he got a new recipe book out, 100 ways to eat cottage cheese. Oh my God. Hey, Kaza Wheel, what's up, man? Ain't seen you in a while, Kaza Wheel. You never look better. Oh, yes. How did I know that? All it took was, you know what? I will say it's funny because it says funny little man, right? So I guess I'm a funny little man wearing a woman's shirt. I don't know if that's probably not a good joke to say right now. I'm just trying to find a reason to keep the shirt and not send it back. I think it's fine as long as I'm not out in public, and you guys know it's and then here you got Todd Kiesling's logo, but I didn't know Todd Kiesling was Illuminati, and that's another thing I'm just learning. Anyway, whatever. I mean, we were gonna go, and we have the receipts. And honestly, it was going to start at 5. It probably would never have ended. So we would have been going and going and going. And that would have been something. And, it's interesting. As I'm going through, I'm documenting all the artists and authors. Well, all the people who want to go on record or who have gone on record. Public. I'm not going to say anything that I've gotten in confidence from some people. No, I won't share those stories, of course, but everybody who's gone on record and that I could document and grab from the socials, we're gonna show it. We're gonna have receipts. We're gonna have this video that stands in it. And I've already kind of done a lot of this stuff. In fact, if you ever want to, if you go to my Patreon and you're a free member, you'll have access to all the newsletters. But if you're, some of them are free to just literally everyone. So you don't even have to be a Patreon member. Those are the ones that I felt were important to share to get the word out. Like my open letter to Stephen King, which is funny. I mean, I really didn't think he'd ever read it. I've tweeted it at him like 3 times and gotten no responses. Whatever. It's all what it is. I wouldn't acknowledge me either. If you're if you're encouraging a bully to do borderline criminal activity with his business and stick it up the ass of authors and artists and customers, yeah, I wouldn't want to acknowledge that I'm friends with that person either. You know? So don't blame Stephen King until you come at him with a lawyer and a subpoena. He probably ain't going to do or say shit. F him. But if you were of a mind to do some reading, you could go to my Patreon. Here, I'll link to it right here. And I got posts 53, 80, 97, 102, 127, 128, a post called Loose Ends, which isn't a newsletter. Then newsletter 131, 134, and 135. They all have receipts of some kind. I think the best one is 80, because that's when all the authors come out of the woodwork to talk about what an awful piece of shit he is. And then recently, another author came out and posted, he's like, I finally snapped. I couldn't wait any longer. I've never posted that. I don't believe I posted that in any of my newsletters. So that was something we're going to talk about. I was going to talk about what Edward Lorne, or E, we call him E. So cheers. Also cheers, Mitch. Yes, cheers to Mitch. Cheers, Alan. We're doing cheers now till 12 a.m. here. Gotta hit the hay, but I will rewatch tomorrow. Bless be, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry this isn't the live that we were planning. So instead, it's going to be like a series of videos, and it gives us the flexibility to do the back and forth. My hair wasn't ready for prime time anyway. So that's cool, though. That's cool. But yeah, I got all those posts. If you want to see what people have said, you don't even have to read what I wrote about it. That's the beauty of it. They're all screen grabs. And you could just read the screen grabs, the actual back and forth messages. There's a whole thing about Paul Michael Caine. What that guy turned out to be, such a douchebag. Unbelievable douchebag. It's like it would be like after World War II going up to Goebbels. I don't know. I ain't going to say names because I don't know. It would be like going up to, I'm trying to think of an equivalency. Be somebody who's friends with a monster and say, here's all this evidence. Why are you friends with this person? And then they just keep walking. They won't answer your questions. And they know full well the bullshit the guy's done. But because they're making money from the guy, they shut up and won't acknowledge it. That to me is a douchebag. In some ways, worse than the original guy who does this shit. Because you're enabling it, you're allowing it, and you're supporting it. So I'm really annoyed. And then all the customers, there's that one person, Courtney, who I got into it on Facebook, but that's sort of in the weeds, and we want to get the big picture out there. Definitely going into the weeds with some of the evidence and get it out there. And I encourage all those posts I shared, those numbers, 53 or 80 or 97 are probably the heaviest hitting ones, but 80 for sure. The Jeff Word newsletter, number 80. If you ever see anybody saying, well, they're worth the wait, or, just to show them this is what's going on. And I know it's nothing new. There are a lot of small presses that have gone under and done shady bullshit way before I started collecting, and left a lot of people in their wake. It's a hard enough business as it is. I think of SST with all of his unsold books. You set a budget based on what's your break-even point, and then when do you start making money, and you have to sell those books. To be fair, King has been a hypocritical kook for some time now. Isn't it something that's what gets me upset, is that when someone gets into power, they think they are now the moral they can set the moral standard. Or like Stephen King is an amazing storyteller. He has very few equals. The power of his prose and narrative is almost unmatched, at least in the modern era, and definitely when it comes to bestsellers and books made into movies and all those metrics. He is a phenomenon, and rightly so. I mean, I'm a huge fan. That doesn't make him right in every aspect of life, and that's fine because none of us are right. None of us are right. We only have our opinions based on our experiences, and so we should let each other off the hook whenever people have strong opinions. They might not just be informed enough, or maybe they're more informed than you. So you never know where people are. But there's a thing that happens to the wealthy that pisses me off so much, is that they think they have a title. They think they have a right to tell other people what to think and what to believe. And wealth doesn't give you that. Wealth means you did something right and you've gained on it, and you know what you're doing. But you're not get the hell out of here. Kiss my ass. So yes, I resent that about Stephen King. Like, share what you think, persuade, write eloquent pieces, tell people, this, but just sitting there on Twitter calling names, it degrades you. It belittles you. And yeah, I mean, look at what the president does on Twitter. I mean, it's the same thing. It degrades you. You taking shots on Twitter is about as pathetic as you can get. Whatever. I'm not here to talk about all that. Really just wanted to go after Cemetery Dance, and we will. So I just wanted to share that. And I have no way to tell everybody it's off. There's no, I can't call everybody. Some people are on Facebook. A lot of people are not on Facebook. Some people got my newsletter and went over to Edward Lawrence channel expecting a throwdown. So this is my way to tell everybody it's not going to happen today. I'm going to enjoy my pink lemonade. It's raspberry lemonade here in the South. There's a company called Milo's, and they do sweet tea, lemonade, and my God, it is awesome. For those of you who, I don't know where Milo's extends. It just wasn't in Chicago. Didn't make it to Chicago. Sweet tea. The other long delay for me was Hafner Press and Robert Bloch Vampire Stories books. I ordered it January 2020. Wow. And it's just shipping this week. Oh my God. There were no updates on his website since I ordered. Holy cow. That is awful, David. That is so bad. That's crazy. Wow. Because it's one thing to go sign. I mean, it's one thing to delay, but you got to keep people updated. So at least there's shipping. At least you're going to get it. So that's awesome. Last CD I bought was a paperback of an Ian Rogers book, Never Again from CD. We'll toss that copy when it gets republished. It sucks. It does suck. Yeah, no more Hafner pre-orders for me. He's a douche on Facebook too. Nothing but snarky comments. Yeah, that's the thing. If you fall down as a business, don't get mad that people are pointing out that you fell down. Apologize that you dropped the ball and you messed something up and move on. But I see so many businesses get into it with their customers. Like, you're not going to win, dude. And all the people that are watching the argument are going to peace out. So it's really stupid. Yeah, the last CD book I bought was probably Bruises on a Butterfly. And I used up my last credit for that, the Chad Lutsky title. Excellent story, by the way. Excellent. And then I did buy Widow's Point during one of Chizmar's schemes. I know I went into it fully knowledgeable about what a stupid thing it was. This was September 28th of 2025. And He said, if you buy Widow's Point, tell us you bought it, send a picture of your receipt, and we will send you my scariest Stephen King scene, an anthology, a collection of articles from authors talking about the scene they found scariest in Stephen King books, movies. I don't know if there was a guy or guardrail around it. And Philip Fracassi was one of them. And he told in a private message, he said it was a fun thing to do. So I did that. So I fell into that little scam. And I'm waiting on that. They said it's going to ship in June. They told us we'd get it in November. It's a print on demand piece of shit, you know? I don't know. It was stupid. It was a weak moment. And I would yell at myself if I could clone myself or get a time machine and go back in time and say, you idiot. It's not worth it. Even though Phil Fracassi, and I forgot who else is in it. So that was my last Cemetery Dance interaction or purchase or whatever you want to call it. And I do have a couple of orders that I would only get store credit if I canceled. So it's not even worth it. There's 2 more books in a forthcoming grab bag I didn't get. There are Cemetery Dance Collector Club rewards that I'm supposed to be getting. And then there's Turn Down the Lights, a book I bought in 2013 that I've famously griped about. Yeah, preach. I can't even look at Chizzy's emails anymore. Grab bags, Glenn Chadbourne, Raider of the Lost Ark, warehouse finds. Yeah, they're the best. Never ends. Nope. You see, here's the thing. I went to when I was preparing for the show with Edward with E. I went into my emails in my email account, and I clicked on. If you see a sender, you go to the sender in this email program I have, and you click a magnifying glass, and it'll produce all the emails from that sender. And there's an interesting thing that happened. I subscribe to the Richard Chizmar newsletter. So I clicked on that, figuring when I clicked that magnifying glass, I'm going to see all the senders will be Richard Chizmar newsletter. Just down, 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 because I don't ever delete any. So I clicked on that, and holy shit, all Richard Chizmar newsletter emails and all Cemetery Dance emails, all of them identified as coming from that sender. So when I clicked that, I got 612 emails. In May, I think I got 70 emails from Cemetery Dance and Richard Chizmar's newsletter. And they're identical. They're always identical. Somebody pointed out that it's bad business. I don't think it's illegal, but it was bad business for Cemetery Dance email list subscribers to be getting spammed with Richard Chizmar personal projects. So for a little bit, they created a line. They said, hey, for anybody interested in anything going on with Richard Chizmar, subscribe to his email, and you'll get all kinds of newsletters with special deals. And they created that barrier, but it didn't last long. They went right back to identical emails going to 2 email lists. So, and then, people like me who like to hate watch, just stay subscribed. I passed on bruises until Thunderstorm did it. And when Thunderstorm did it, they did it in coordination with Cemetery Dance. I couldn't support Chiz, so glad Thunderstorm did it, and I actually paid Lutsky. Yeah, Lutsky did, I think, eventually get paid for bruises. So I think it's getting harder and harder to get your money, to get refunds, to get paid for your work. It's just the pool is drying up. He needs Uncle Stevie to bail him out again. And part of the reason why E and I wanted to do this is we don't know how long Chizmar is going to last. It might be a problem. The garbage might take itself out. And then we could do a Cemetery Dance autopsy. But at that point, we're not really doing what I want to do. And that is alert people to stay away because he's a son of a bitch. Right? And I'm afraid that people will actually lose money. That's all. This is my oldest CD order. Waiting. Oh, yes, Waiting. And the author died. Rick Hatchula. It's so awful. It is so awful. So old, it's not in the current account history on the site. Yeah. You're probably never getting it. Cemetery Dance Book Club number 4. Wow. You're probably not getting that. It used to be on the production page. You're being too kind on Chizz. He's the worst. I know. Well, I'm not trying to be kind, so please do not misinterpret. I feel like I've called him a douchebag and worse just in this short amount of time. So I'm hopefully not being kind to Richard Chizmar. And by the way, go to Todd Kiesling's site because you got to get this shirt. Funny little man. And if you don't know what this is about, go to my newsletter number 80 and you'll see. Damn, David, what year was that? Oh my God. I don't know how long ago that was, Mitch. That was number 4. I was in 8, 9, and 10. So, oh man, that had to be 2010. Who knows? Pre-2010, I think. Yeah. I consider it all sunk cost at this point. Hopefully I get the books eventually, but if not, I'll let it go. Yeah, that's how I felt after I got the stand. And honestly, excuse me. And honestly, if I don't get my scariest Stephen King scene, it won't be the end of the world because I actually bought Widow's Point. I gave one away at Jeff Con as a gag, but I put something real cool in there. And then I have the other one, and I plan on reading it and reviewing it at some point, but maybe I won't. But like I bought 2 books, and then this was a special thing he was giving, which was a mistake. I wouldn't have done it if I could do it again. At least 16 years. Could have been 2008 or so. Wow. Pre-2010. Yeah. Now everyone can buy All the Bruises on a Butterfly because after getting the rights back and Francois giving me the cover rights, I put it out myself. Yes. No more CD. Yep. Get that out of your system, Chad. Hello. Good to see you. Chizz is an investor. He takes your money and invests it into his own books. He's not even a good investor. So he's a fame chaser. He's chasing fame. He's trying. He succeeded too. He's a He's a New York Times national bestseller. He did what he set out to do. And he took our money to leverage his fame. And the thing is, once Stephen King is gone, when he's out of the picture, because he's not immortal. He might think he is because he's achieved a certain level of wealth, and those people think they're immune to what the plebes have to endure. So he will pass on, and then Chizmar will have nothing. His writing is room temperature at best, and he won't have more Stephen King stuff to sell. He could start forging his signature, I guess, but that's a hopeless cause. He could ask Stephen King to sign a bunch of stuff just in the eventuality, just sign a bunch of blank book plates. Perhaps. I don't know. But he'll have nothing to leverage. There won't ever be a hope that there will be a new Stephen King book done by Cemetery Dance. And so he won't have a Man in Black suit or a Faces in the Crowd or a Flight or Fright. He won't have that shit. And, he'll have to fall back on is his writing career. And without the CD email list to spam, he has nothing. And I hope people have dropped off that CD email list, unsubscribed. I like seeing it when people say that. So he doesn't even have those numbers to hit. There's nothing more to be done, really. I bet he's keeping his personal finances separate from business. Looks like he has a very nice house and property. Well, I don't know about where he lives or what his house looks like or anything like that or his personal life. But yes, if he's not an idiot, he has kept, and that's why when you see the Cemetery Dance emails and they say this is not on the website yet, pay Richard Chizmar directly. That is selling Cemetery Dance products and not paying the business. So if the business is an entity over here and Richard Chizmar is a entity over here, he's taking money and letting this one fall away and it's going straight to here, but he's using Cemetery Dance stuff to get money directly to himself. And so it becomes a big legal issue. And I don't even know, like, does he claim that income on his income taxes? Or does he say that's business revenue? Like, how does he divvy up when it comes to the taxes on that? So yeah, he is, he got a nice deal from Gallery Books for a 2-book deal. And then he got another 2-book deal from Gallery, I think, or a 3-book deal. And so he got that money. But if he's keeping Cemetery Dance afloat, they're not selling anything. So how is he paying for Mindy to be there, for Dan Franklin to be his meat shield, to keep the lights on, to keep the air conditioning going, so the warehouse doesn't ruin whatever inventory it's holding? So he's got to be spending his personal money to keep that afloat, and then doing what he can. He's playing all kinds of games, and they're just all catching up to him. That's my opinion from the outside. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell. Consult with your financial advisor before buying anything. That's the true horror story. Chad, so glad to hear Bruises is no longer tainted by Chizz. Yes, and off schedule. All right, I was supposed to go live with Edward Lauren, and instead, I just thought I'd jump on here for a half hour and apologize for not going live on Edward Lauren's show and just talk and preview. This is a preview. All I can say is stay tuned, and we will get videos up, and I will let everybody be aware of that. So yes, Chizz just needs to travel to Bangor to bag Steve for more cigs. Yeah. Maybe he's like Barry Hoffman, who keeps books in his basement. Wow, I almost forgot. Phil, this isn't the actual live. I'm sorry. And that's really the only reason I went live is to say sorry. I'm probably going to cut it there. Oh, you know what? I could show you this. I got this. Look at this. The song for the end of the world. Mia Dalia. I need to talk to her about how to pronounce her last name. Awesome little hardcover. Look at that. I love the artwork too. And then look at this. I don't think it's ocean blue, but I love that blue. Look at that blue. Look at that. And then elegant end papers, end sheets. And a cool, nice illustration. All these peeps on the boat. This is still available. Signed, limited, hardcover, art. Good art. Good art. I don't want to show you spoiler pictures, but I could show you something. It's a thin book. Where I know there. Oh, I can't show you that. There you go. Here you go. Here's some art. At one point, they tell stories. It's a stories within a story. I love that part of this book. So get it. Read it. It's a treat. Read it. It's a treat. Chizz probably selling drugs, dude. I don't know what he's doing, and I can't speculate on that because then we get into the territory of slander, maybe. I don't know. I see what he's doing with his website, with his sales, with diverting money away from Cemetery Dance, and it's all very, very shady, but I have no real insight into that end of it. But don't worry, that's coming, and we're gonna be doing this, and we're gonna make it so that Chizmar can't cut Edward's power and throw a wrench into all of this. Or threats, right? Uh-oh. Yes. Yes, I don't want him to threaten us. Anyway, I'll put this shirt back in the hanger and get it ready for when I go live with Edward. And until then, do not buy anything from Cemetery Dance. Oh, how's the setup? I like this setup a little bit. It looks like like the bedroom, my teenage years bedroom with all the CDs and the radio back there. I don't know. I dig it. I like the corner. I think this lends itself to a lot more shenanigans. So I'll see you around. Stay good to each other. Don't buy from Cemetery Dance. And as always, stay frosty.